I could do that other thing. I don't know if it's easier or not. I have a link at the top of my the Facebook screen. Okay, it said, well, no, it says preparing. Let's see when it says live on Facebook. Oh, here, mute yourself. There it goes. Now it's live on Facebook. Okay, so hi everyone. I am going to talk more about some tips and tricks for cancer. And if you did not watch last week, you can go ahead and watch that. If you did not see the video I posted from Loria Sterling, go watch it. She shares things that she took every day, recipes. She talks about, books that she read. Let me go back. Eat to beat cancer and beating cancer with cancer. So, you can go through and you can see, she also shares a purple drink that has been known to help with that. So anyhow, she's great because she points you to where you can, these books and things, you can go and you can see the research yourself and then make your own decision. And it explains why these different things are helpful. One cool thing that she talked about, which is something that I'm talking about food, right? And vitamin C. A lot of people will hear to take a lot of vitamin C while you're trying to deal with this, right? And they say that it'll kill it or fight it. And it helps, but the way that it does that is it tricks the cells. So those cells will think that it's sugar, and sugar feeds cancer, right? So the cancer will go and attach to the vitamin C, but it has like the same, molecular stuff that it makes it think that. But then when it gets to it, it's not sugar, and so it starves it. And so that is how it's affecting it. So that's just a cool thing that you start to learn as you start learning more and more, right? Okay, so I just wanted to share one thing. First of all, I wanted to share this letter, and just this really sums up. It's an idea that Susan John. Sorry, I'm also getting all tangled up. That Susan put together, and I really think it's put together well. So I share it in the beginning when I teach this class in person. It says, first, I want to encourage you to realize that cancer is not the problem. It is simply the symptom of an underlying issue and an imbalance in a person's body. I know this can be quite foreign from all that you've ever been told in the past, but as soon as you begin to understand cancer from this perspective, then you can immediately begin to understand how important it is to address the underlying cause, which then leads to taking the correct steps towards healing a sick body. So I know that some people will say, well, I can simply cut the cancer or remove the tumor or poison the cancer with chemotherapy, burn the cancer with radiation, and this can bring them, the fortunate result of being in remission. However, the rate of relapse is astoundingly high, especially for children. And that's person that was fighting, right? The state of constant fear for every cancer survivor makes this unacceptable, particularly because it is preventable. Surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation are effective for some, but only if it's in conjunction with a therapeutic diet, an effective detox, and immune support. Those are the areas that are making this, right? So we need to think that how is this really affecting us? Cancer is a metabolic disease. Another great resource that can help you if you wanted to get in-depth understanding of what it is. That is a book that anybody can go read, and it has tons of alternative holistic therapies that are really essential to your body healing. So it can be overwhelming when somebody hears this, whether it's you or the family member. You can be just as overwhelmed, right? So moving down like the path of using holistic methods to heal may not be something that you're very familiar with. So sometimes we take things in bite-sized pieces and break it down by addressing the specific area and simple, practical ways that you can start. So we're going to look at 5 ways to address it and get more targeted on types, right? And then maybe some things that can help. So the very first thing is detox, right? It's the most important part of supporting the cancer, right? Like of supporting your body. Because cancer is the symptom of the imbalance. Therefore, like you have to focus on addressing the underlying cause that triggered it, right? So most of the time, the inability to detox is part of that trigger. So a lot of the medication that most cancer patients are going to take to kill the tumor, it's because it's very toxic. So there's a critical need to be constantly pushing toxins out of the body, right? And eliminating the dead cancer cells as they're killed off, okay? So these are some simple ways to help start detoxing that body, okay? And this one sounds quite funny, or not funny, but odd. But she and I've heard several people after I'm teaching this that they heard this as well. People that are looking for natural things to like just put into everything they're doing. Coffee enemas, okay? Coffee enemas are the most effective way to dump the liver and toxins and then break down tumors. Like break down the tumor. Isn't that crazy? So there's an article that's incredibly helpful because it explains like what they are and the benefits of them and the equipment that you need to do this. Okay, and she has a link that I can also put underneath here so that you can see the equipment and you just get it. You purchase the bucket and then you have a hanger kit. You don't need the hanger kit. You can easily do it yourself, but it shows you how to do it on the site. And that's because people have been, doing this and treating this. It's pretty cool. Okay, another thing that is really important, okay, detoxing is going to be important, right? Actually, that's number 2. So number 1, if I'm just wondering if you can guess, right? So number 1 is going to be the diet, okay, then detoxing. The diet is very important because glucose is the fuel. Like the sugar is the fuel for cancer, right? So it's important to begin implementing a diet that we can eliminate as much excess glucose as possible. So, you can do a keto diet with plenty of fruits and veggies and stuff like that. I mean, not fruits, plenty of fresh veggies. And you can understand more about like how to heal that foundation. You look at what to eat for your blood type. This is what my aunt did. This is what she did after she tried all these other things, right? She went to what to eat for her blood type. Now, if you think about it, your blood feeds every single thing, right? So it's fortifying and it has a fortifying power. So it's going to help you be as strong as you can be if you're fortifying it by your diet, okay? So she also recommends meat stock, bone broth, quintin minerals, and like a high therapeutic probiotic, like a really good quality probiotic. There's so many probiotics out there. My doctor used to say they were just garbage. Okay, so that was years ago when I worked in pediatrics. Pretty sure that he knew he was searching for the right ones, but he was like, most of them are never getting where I needed to go. So you got to search for those really good ones, right? I can point you in that direction, but another good thing is at least a serving of fermented foods like raw kefir or like sauerkraut, something that you make homemade. Okay, because if it's on the shelf, then you're putting more toxins in, right? It's got preservatives. Homemade pickles, that is something that is fermented, right? So keep those in your daily diet. Okay. And there's a book called Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon, and it talks about different fermented foods. So you can look that up, right? Um, enough. A lot of people also ask about dairy in your diet, and so most of the time, yes, it really would be good to cut that out. But there's a difference if you're going to eat what is true raw dairy, and like the raw form of cheese or raw kefir, and it's different from that, or cultured yogurt. Okay, they're not going to be the same. So you would have to look that up to see. If you've ever tasted raw milk, it is not going to be what you're getting in the store at all. There's a difference there, and what's happening in the process of it is what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to take out toxins, right? So everything that is dairy is processed. Does that make sense? The milk is processed. The cheese is processed. So that's why you would have to be able to find like a farmer or something where it would be raw, and then it would be different. I think that breaks it down a little bit better. Okay. So that is how it's different. And that's why I would say cut out dairy unless you know that you can go grab that raw stuff. Okay. Now, I think I mentioned last week, if you need meal planning assistance, then Season has a 30-day real food meal plan that you can purchase. Okay, and it's 30 days worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they are grain-free, they are dairy-free, they are sugar-free, and she also includes some of the fermented food. So, yeah, I learned a lot of that from my aunt and from Stephen Johnson. So that's where I would target the biggest things that you can do, right? Then of course I would say you can throw in some oils because they're working. This is a cellular thing. This is a cellular beast. That's all it is. And your metabolism is feeding it, right? And the toxins are feeding it. So try to help the cells like as much as possible. Okay. And there's easy things that are easy to implement. And there's different things that you can do, whether depending on the type of cancer, there's different ones that you could use. And they could be as simple as applying them on the bottom of your feet, 2 times a day. So there's different things that you can do like that. And I mean, that's really easy, right? Then you can take some soft gels that help support the DNA functioning of the cells, which is really critical because that's what you're trying to help it correct, right? So you could do that as well. And then when you're sleeping, just diffuse some like frankincense and lavender and breathe. Those are really great. And then you can also take some internally, like copaiba. It is great for the whole system. It's really going to be great. And frankincense is just good for all of that. Okay. So there's more things that I could break it down into. And if you have questions and you have a specific type, I do have recipes for different types. And I'll just give you some ideas, okay, on some oils. So frankincense is supportive for healthy cell function, and it improves the feelings of discomfort, right? Digestion, it helps the digestive support, the whole tract. it regulates the bowel function. Lavender is going to be relaxing and calming and just helpful, right? Peppermint, like when people are dealing with this, they can have low energy. It'll help with that, and also helps with body getting hot or discomfort in your head or stuff like that. Right? Lemon naturally detoxes the body, so you would want to be drinking that, right? It also improves the immune function, which is what you're trying to boost. Um, there's some other ones like the oregano can kind of help depending on like if you have some bacteria. Sometimes people can catch stuff while they're dealing with this, so that could be helpful. And then like aches and pains, just connective tissue discomfort. Deep blue will be great for that because some people get some aches and pains. I would also go back and look at the video that Loria did because she specifically shows you some that work for nerve pain that some people experience. I've had a lot of people experience nerve pain after their treatment. And then just generalized pain. She just looked them all. And you can try any of the ones that are there. Another thing that was pretty interesting, it's called a biomat. And I have asked different people, and I know even not for this topic, there's another person that I know that has Crohn's, and they use they use biomat, and they said they slept amazingly. They are expensive, they're incredible, but they use infrared rays, and they're antiviral, antibacterial, and fungal, and they assist the body like cooking out the cancer. That's how I would describe it. But it's safe. It's not like a high level of this stuff or anything like that. But it stimulates the body to detox, and then it stimulates healthy cell production, right? So right now, what you have is the unhealthy cell production, which is why we're trying to change the function of the cell and change the DNA of it, heal it, not change it, but heal it, and get it to start properly functioning, right? So this is going to help with that healthy cell production so that the healthier ones will be there instead of the unhealthy and getting it to activate, right? So there are some articles that I can also send on how to use that. Now, Susan said that she had her son Kicker slept on it every single night, even in the hospital. He lived in the hospital. He battled it for 3 years, I believe. And she said also, anytime somebody is sick in her home, she has them sleep on the biomat. And she said they will put them on it and then they'll sleep. And she said she's not kidding. They wake up the next day, they're better. So it just pulls out the toxins, right? And then helps the cells get healthy really quick. So it's really incredible. And there's a site called Optimal Wellness, and you can order it for a discounted price if you ever decide to look at it. Now, like Season has some really cool things, and I think I mentioned it before, but she has like a 30-day program that she hosts it's a 30 days, so 4 weeks. And she teaches 25 different families that are going through cancer. And so she keeps up with them like super close, and she goes through their diet and their detoxing and oils to use and food and different suggestions as they're going through all that. And so they receive mentoring and access to a private Facebook where those 25 people will keep on giving support to each other. And so it kind of becomes like a little family, So if anybody might need that support, you can go to, sorry, I don't know this by heart. I mean, I knew that she has it, but I had to remember. It's, okay, if you know bit.ly, bit.ly/30 days thrive. So, and then select stay updated, and because people apply, and then, she pulls from that number. So you'll be notified when they have a release date, and they'll update you for the next 30 days. So, and then any kid under 18, she has a Kickstart kit. and she will send it out to that person, that kid. And that one, if you go to kickcancermovement.org, and then you look at like shop and it'll say Kickstart kit. Yeah. So anybody that wants a kit, they can purchase one too. You don't have to, if you're a kid, she'll mail it to you for free, but if you just want one, you can buy it. So so yeah, there's a whole bunch of, and if you go to susanjohnson.com, you can look up Let's Starve the Cancer, a ketogenic diet, where to begin, raw milk being safe, the 30 meal day plan is free. What else? She has like different detox remedy stuff that she has. She has the coffee thing, and the biomat link is there too, but I can put all this down below on my Facebook page. Okay. So I just want to, tell you that there's so many things that I could keep on going on and on about, but I want you to know, like, there's different things that you do at different stages as well. So some people, now there are some things that any type of cancer people can use, right? So like we have a thing called the Superman blend, and it's for anybody. It's really just to help, it's the basic oils that help everything that's cancer, right? So it's got like the DDR prime for the DNA. It's got the frankincense and sandalwood, okay? So that it's really easy, right? And then they just rub it on the bottom of their feet, on their heart, down their spine, the back of their head. They just do it morning and night. But then there's things that, like, there's immune support. So that is really critical, right? Like, that's why I talked about the food that's gonna do that. But then there's several blends that you could do for everyone that's treating anything. Then there's things that you do when you're not doing chemo, right? Just like vitamins that we suggest, some detox help that we suggest. And then there's things that you do during chemo that are going to be different, right? But you stay on the vitamins. And so it's a little bit different because your body is dealing with different stuff, right? And then there's different, say it's bone type or colon type. There's some extra differences for breast type. There's just different little things that we can share, I'm not going to go into all that, but the one thing that I would, as far as food, right? We're talking about food. I would say, I know we talked about the dairy thing, but in general, that is very rare that you're going to know somebody that has that. So even Susan said, basically, she would say no dairy. And I told you it's because it's all processed food. Juicing, no fried foods, none, no coffee. I know you're using the coffee enema, but think about it. It's like ripping these things apart and everything, right? But it's tearing it apart in a way. You don't want to be putting that same stuff into you while you're trying to build up the immune system and all that. You're breaking stuff down. So you don't want to break apart that part, right? And no artificial ingredients. It's just critical at this point that you're not getting any other toxins or preservatives or things that are your body wants to be taking in as much nutrients as possible. So we're trying to stay away from these chemical. If it's artificial, it's chemical, right? It's not artificial and it's a food. It's artificial and it's a chemical. The body's going to be going through enough other chemical processing. So really at this time, just take that out. Just you're going through and you're trying to fight, you just sacrifice these things and your body starts to change. My aunt just said she had all kinds of incredible changes. And she didn't miss it after, and she ate healthy for a long time, And even in my family, we're not going through anything like that. But we have eliminated things and just cleansed our organs and stuff, and saw that our body, when we cleansed, every few months, our body didn't want that. My son couldn't eat a hamburger. He was just like, and hamburgers can be fine when you cook it at home, but he went to a fast food and he was just like, my body did not want it. It was disgusting, and things that he would maybe eat that were processed. He was like, well, my body just could not. He thought he wanted it, bought it, and then was like, no, no way. Took a bite, like spit it out, threw it in the trash. So he learned, and we learned, and this is when they were teenagers. So it really opened our eyes to see when your body is used to getting um, healthy food and nutrients. And now we did not tell them there's not going to be any cookies or chips, or we just said let's just cleanse, and as we cleanse, start eating healthy, and we cooked healthy meals. But y'all try to monitor and change. But it started to be that their body was monitoring because it was changing. So we just had stuff and we literally just threw it away because they didn't eat the chips, or it went bad. So it was quite obvious when we looked in, and we didn't have that garbage because they couldn't eat it. So your body really does adjust, and you don't want it. You don't have to try. You just don't want it. And during this time, your body's going to go through changes, and you'll see that if you're somebody that loves dairy or fried foods, um, you still want it. But I mean, if you think about it, I know somebody that said he didn't eat chicken wings for a long time, and it was one of his favorite things. And he was like, yeah, I really wanted it. He's like, and then I decided I've been good for this many months. And I don't know how long it was. I forgot what he said, but uh, he said, yeah. And then him and his new wife, they went and they got chicken, and he was like, wasn't as good as I remembered. He's like, didn't really care. I mean, it was all right, but didn't taste the way I thought it used to taste. And that's what my son would say is my body had changed and things didn't taste that way. And I would joke for a while. I would say there's nothing I can drink. My body just does not want, a juice was too sweet, all these different things, a lemonade. I mean, a lot of people, if you know me, you know that I usually do a third lemonade or a half lemonade, half water, because I just can't take that sugar. My body doesn't want it anymore. And they'll laugh because I'll cut my juice in half, or, but my body just adapted. And so, and the thing with juicing is that is a lot of sugars, natural sugars, but it's sugars, right? So you just have to watch. And some of these books that I mentioned will show you, ones that are less sugar, ones to avoid, and that have high, so you're just going to watch all that. So I just want to take a minute and just let that sink in. And oh, there's another thing that I wanted to mention. I don't know how I skipped over that. Something else that she mentioned that was pretty easy. I'm trying to see, did I miss it? Okay, I'm just looking. I have on the side, I have some notes and stuff, but I don't see where I saw this. But anyway, maybe I just put the picture to remind me. I didn't put any words. One thing that she said was, remember I said we're trying to pull out these toxins, like say you're doing some treatments, right? We're using it to get rid of this and to kill these cells, right? That are not acting properly. And that's okay. If you're told to do that and you're going to go do that, hey, we're going to do it, right? And that is what's necessary. But what we're saying is, Susan would say, she said when her son was in the hospital, the first thing she noticed was they were feeding him, or going to feed him. She didn't let him eat it. She was a dietitian, so she said, no, I'll just give him food. And after a week or so, the doctor was like, well, maybe we should look at what we're feeding these patients that are in this area. And she was like, yeah, because that feeds it, and this is processed, which will feed it, and this has all this sugar in it. This jello is, so she was just showing them that she knew, and she was going to give him the food that was going to starve it. She was going to try to starve it as much as she could and not feed it. So as we're going to go ahead and go through these processes in our body, it is, poisons or toxins or, it's meds and stuff that are going to go and attack it. Okay. But we also want to have it do its job and then get it out as soon as possible. And she said she didn't see oncology detoxing. And as quickly as you can, if you start doing that, you'll see not as much residual, like the side effects can be lesser or just not as much taxing on the body. And the other thing she mentioned was this reoccurring, right? Like it, you hear that, you beat it and then maybe it comes back, right? Well, when she started thinking about that and looking at different research, why? Well, those cells are just dead and they're just laying there, right? And it's kind of, maybe it's just dormant and then it's still there, so it can come back. But what happens if you get rid of the dead cells and you get rid of the, detox it and get it out, right? So that's what she was saying is as quickly as we're putting this in, let it do its job, get it out. So one way she was doing that with her son, and like this was years ago, so now tons of people have been doing it, is castor oil. I heard it doesn't taste wonderful at all. The other day, somebody joked and said, man, my mom made me do that. It's horrible, but we had good effects. But the castor oil, you could just take a cloth, like flannel or wool or whatever, and put the castor oil on it and put it in the front and the back of the liver. And she said that she put saran wrap or something over it just so that it didn't get the shirt all greasy, right? So she put that over it and then, just put it underneath the clothes. And she said he was 3, okay, 3 to 5. So anytime he was watching a cartoon or, watching a movie that she could get him to just sit and lay down for a long time, she would put a heating pad over that castor oil cloth and just let it draw out the toxins from the liver. And that's not very hard. It's not very, what do you call it? Sorry, but it's not intrusive or evasive. That's the word I was looking for. But it's pulling it out. And people said from doing this, they saw a change from when they weren't doing it, and their body was supported, and they didn't have all these things that they were experiencing before. The other thing was Epsom salt bath, and she would put some oil in the bath that are detoxing, and just let him play and relax or whatever in the Epsom salt, because it's also pulling out the toxins. Now you don't want to stay in Epsom salt more than 15 minutes, 20 max. They really say 15 will draw it out, and you need to get out so that your body doesn't absorb it again. Okay. But just thinking of easy things that you can do at home while you're going through, everybody has to choose their own path. Everybody's cancer is going to be a little bit different. And you have to listen to your doctors and then with yourself and follow what's going to be your path. And whatever your path is different from another friend's path or another family member's path. And that is what you do what's best for you. And it's all different. So at the same time, let's help you with all the things that are going on to ease some of the other symptoms or some of the body's toxicity. We keep it clean and try to pull it out, give it the things it needs and take it out and just help it to feel, as healthy as it can while it's going through all that. So there's things, like I said, that we do after you've done the treatment to try to help get the detox out all the rest of the way and to kind of soothe it. And sometimes it taxes some organs and, you have nerve pain or different things from the area that might have been taxed a little bit. So now you're going to, soothe it while it's healing and let it repair those areas. There's a couple of friends that did have nerve pain after. And a stranger that I met at a facility I was teaching in, she told me, yeah, I didn't have this before. So that was kind of the first awareness that I had that nerve damage, nerve pain can come from treatment. I didn't really know that before about 2 years ago. So then I started helping people with that, and some really quickly just had it resolved, helping the DNA of that area start to heal, and mend itself. So it's pretty cool. She also, I don't know what I did with that recipe, but she has, if you look in the video from Luria, she has a purple smoothie that she does every day still. And her kids and her grandkids, they all drink it. And Season had one, and it's a green smoothie, but it's full of veggies and stuff. And her son ate it. So I mean, drink it every day. Um, so those are some things, and I can show you a picture. um, well, I don't know if it'll do it on Facebook. You may have to watch this after, but this is her son, Kicker. This was a friend that they made, there. This is him drinking smoothie. This is just showing that he did Epsom salt bath all the time. This is the castor oil, and she's put it on some flannel and just put it on his little tiny tummy and let him veg out. And she said as often as he would, she would do it every time so that he could, pull that stuff out of there. So yeah, those are some things that I just wanted to share. Again, I didn't want to go too far into. I mean, there's so much you can say about food. Like I did share about the vitamin C and your blood type, and there's just so many things that um, I can go on. And I think Laria said the same thing. There's so many things that she can talk about, and she shared that she had the privilege of being able to speak to some of doTERRA's research doctors and specialists and stuff. So she had access that most of us don't have access to. So anything they said and showed her research with like frankincense or research with cinnamon and research, she would just start using it, And she said that first, not at first, she did it the whole time. She did a capsule full of frankincense and a capsule full of the different ones that, cinnamon and different things like that. And she said now looking back, it doesn't take a whole capsule. But at the same time, she said like some different people might need, like frankincense is really good in so many ways. So, certain types might need more. So you could really follow what you think and talk to your doctor. She had her doctor was right with her on board the whole time. But you could do half or you could do a third. And she said that some people she might say, hey, I would think I would do a little bit more because certain areas could be helpful with frankincense or, this or that, depending on the area. You could look at the oils that help that type. And then you would know, well, I'm going to do a little bit extra of this one because this one needs this, where the other ones might not. Like frankincense is going to be for all, but geranium might be good for some. And so you might want to do more, or, whatever. But anyhow, you can look at those different things. I have, if you want to comment, if you need an email of some recipes or things, I can send you that email. But I just, don't want to go too far and all of that. But I wanted to just explain that through the stages of treatment, there's different things that you do. And, thinking of this so that you can fight it from a different level, where did this start? And another thing, when we're talking about the toxins, right? Also look at the toxins that are in your home. Those are often contributors. This thing happened to your body over time. It didn't just pop up in a couple months. Slowly, those cells were affected. And so toxins in our home, whether it's shampoo or, laundry detergent or like these things that are sitting on your body all the time have a effect. And so people don't stop to think like they will do green cleaning. And so I like to say there's green cleaning and then there's cleaning that's actually healthy for your body. the stuff that the soaps, the body washes, we have different types. We have different scents and stuff, but they are going to be healthy ones. They're natural, and nobody knows any different. They smell great. They work just the same. Our toothpaste, So all I'm saying is our body absorbs whatever we're putting on it. Our skin is a huge organ that is made to absorb stuff. So don't stop to think that just because you're running water over it, it stops absorption. This is the thing that starts to change how your body reacts and responds, right? So, I get that's one good thing is I can show you the natural switches that you can make, and with that, if we have an account and we get perks for doing it. We can get our laundry detergent for free because we buy stuff all the time, right? But I'm just saying that I had tried to be healthy and cleaner before, and Jason's sister was doing charcoal toothpaste and making her own. We were just trying to be healthy. We were two mamas trying to be healthy, and so we're like, I know how to make laundry detergent. I know how to make dish soap, and we were just sharing as much formulas as we could that were healthy and better for our kids and our family, and just trying to do what we could so that our kids may not have to face some of these things one day. And I was doing that, but I couldn't change at the time that my kids had already gone through where I didn't know this information, right? And I can see how it affected them. But now, the good thing is we could help their organs start to heal and detox and stuff like that. And they got healthier, and they're healthy now, right? But we don't know when something like this pops up, and it accumulated over time. So if we can start to turn that around and put less in, it'll have less chance of that occurring, right? Because maybe it won't build up any further. I don't know if you've ever heard, but there's doctors that will say everybody at one point might have had cancer. You just may not have even known. Our body can't display every signal of pain or something wrong. If it did, we would constantly be in pain. We don't feel everything that our organs and stuff feel all the time. We only feel certain things. Otherwise, you would know right away if you had cancer, right? So these things are just going on in our body, and sometimes our body fights it, and we didn't even know, right? And sometimes it's a change that happens, and it just starts, and who knows what's contributing. But if you know these things, that's why people are cutting sugar out of their diet, right? They know that they have a history, or they know this or that. Just trying to make the changes that you can in your home so that you can reduce the likelihood. I guess that's what I would say. But I hope that this opens some, thoughts and has you look at some books and maybe, I'm not going to say that me and my kids don't eat chips and it's processed, and we do. Okay, guilty. Like, we're going to eat stuff. But we also cleanse as often as we can. We also don't put as toxin free on our body. We do those things so that perhaps our body will fight if we have, we don't eat chips all the time. But, when we do have a little splurge or something like that, our body is more inept it's more able to respond and not have, this outcome, hopefully. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying this is just a message that I want to pass along, and just try to encourage you to look and learn and see what things you want to, like. I was not like, I'm not going to ever give my kids sugar. If my kids wanted a cookie, they had a cookie. They grew up and experienced it all. They had Halloween and everything, right? But now I know, and they weren't ones that ate junk all the time. They actually did like fruits and veggies more, but they ate it. And now, I educate them so that they can make some decisions, maybe cut out the soda or things like that. And now so that you can make decisions, and you don't have to be like completely, but you decrease here and you do there, and you understand what's feeding it and what changes you make in your home. 'Cause I'm going to say about every day you're taking a shower, you're probably brushing your teeth, right? So those are things that every day you're putting that on. Every day you're putting that on. So maybe you make the changes there. Maybe you drink more water with some lemon oil. The lemon juice isn't going to be as much to detox as the lemon oil. So I just wanted to give those, and you can make some comments, and I can respond if you have something, if you would like some links or things like that. Let me know and tell me your thoughts. If you have anything else that I can look at, I just like to keep on learning more and more and more. So I mean, if you put it, I probably will read it. If not tomorrow, then the next day. But I don't miss an opportunity to learn. So a lot of times I'll go in and snap a picture of it or copy it into my notes. And when I sit different places where I have to wait, I will open up that note, click on the link, and then let it read it to me. I let my phone read it to me. So that's what I do. But I like to share and I like to learn. So don't be afraid to email or comment and see what all we find. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for tuning in. If you watch this in the replay, a lot of people tell me they forget, but if you could write replay, then I know that you've seen it. Okay. All right, everyone, have a good night.